Welcome, everybody, to Catfish Weekly, presented by Whiskerware Apparel, along with Chuck Davison and Doc Lang. I'm Lyle Stokes. Guys, how's it going? I know we got some stories to tell this week, Chuck. There's a guy in here that just can't wait to tell us about the big old channel cat.
I'm ready to hear it.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Had a good time. How you guys doing?
We're doing good, man. It's
What's
funny.
your weather like?
It's funny, we talked about them channel cats last week on the show, and you put an absolute giant in the boat yesterday, man. That was awesome.
Yeah, that was pretty good. We had a good time. And like we talked about last week, you know, as the seasons start to change, you got to change where you're going to go track these fish at. That's exactly what happened. I talked to Salamoid the night before, and he told me he had been down there on Saturday, and he said that they weren't in the shallow water, that they were definitely starting to head towards the deeper water. And that's the first thing that we found out when we got there, was the shad were starting to migrate to the deeper water. And so were the fish.
That's awesome.
That's where we started. And it was pretty good because that fish, I never saw the initial takedown because we had two other rods down at the same time. Daniel had an 8-pounder on his line. I had a 10 on a black horse rod. And he got his fish in, and, you know, then we went to get my fish in, and I looked over, and the other rod was down on the other side. And I told Daniel, I said, "Oh man, that thing's hung up," and it was bent over, just, you know, like it was hung in there. And I asked Daniel, I said, "Well, how fast are we going?" And he goes, "About 0.2, 0.3." And I looked over at that reel, and I mean, that reel was just, it was just back and forth. And so I said, "Well, there's something going on here." I said, "I haven't figured this one out." And just before I picked up the rod, it went down like 3 times real hard. And I said, "Well, man," I said, "if it's hung up," I said, "it's hung up on a fish, and it's not hung up on a hump or something out there." And I picked it up, and he looked at my reel, and he goes, "Oh my goodness," he said, "half of your line is gone." And I looked down, and I could see the backing on the reel. So he had empty, I don't know, you know, Daniel figured he was about 400 feet behind the boat. And he fought the whole time. I mean, it was better than 20 minutes for me to get that fish to the boat. But what a monster. I mean, you know, the 21-pound channel cat, oh, man, he fought. It was great. I was so pumped up.
Now, you was on a lake, correct?
Yes, sir. We was on Rocky Fork, and we were in Daniel's boat. We weren't in mine. So you got, you know, he's got a little bit smaller boat. I'm a pretty big guy, so you kind of, if I get near the edges, it wants to roll with you. So I got to be real careful when I'm in that thing. You know, so, I'm no little guy, and I get near the edges, and the boat kind of wants to tilt my way. Well, and then you got a 21-pound fish on there, and both of us are on one side of the boat, and we're just kind of looking at, you know, how close it's getting to the water.
So, man, we're so happy.
Yeah, we had a blast.
That thing. That was a giant, and before you come on tonight, before the show started, Chuck and I was talking about it, and Chuck said, "Man, I want one."
Yeah, he was a beast. First thing I did is I flipped him over and make sure he was a channel, not a blue. He was definitely a channel. So.
That's a great day, and you guys caught a ton of fish too, didn't you?
Yeah, we caught 20 of them. Our best 5 would have been right a little bit past 70 pounds. So wow. Daniel had a couple. Oh yeah, Daniel had a couple of 10s, and we had a bunch of 8s and 9s. I mean, they were just, you know, and they weren't all grouped up. They were just kind of roaming out there. You know, the one thing we did notice, and Daniel picked it up real quick, was that you'd see a school of bait, and there'd be a big arch behind it or right underneath of it.
So they was all on bait.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they were definitely They were definitely targeting the bait.
How deep was your water?
22 feet.
22
And we were,
feet is-
and we were using thumbnail size baits because we had bigger shad. We had 4 and 5 inch shad. They wouldn't touch those, but we also had a bunch of those little 2-inch ones, and all we were doing was just cutting the tail off and then cutting the body section in half and putting that on. So it couldn't have been any bigger than your thumbnail, and that's what they wanted. Every one of them was going down on that stuff.
Wow. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah. Even today, I'm still pumped up about it. I was going around the shop showing everybody, I said, man, here's a 21-pound channel. You don't see this in Ohio very often.
Yeah, or anywhere else really, other than, certain areas that specifically has giant channel cat, but that's a great fish. Anywhere in the world, that's a great fish.
Yeah, I was pretty happy with it. Something off my bucket list. Now all I got to do is catch that triple-digit fish. That's my major bucket list there.
Oh, yeah. Heck yeah, man.
I think that is for everybody. I know it's for the 3 of us it is.
You just made Chuck want one that much worse. Well, that's awesome. I'm going to tell them girls whenever they're ready.
So what size channel cat would be in the same class as a 100-pound blue for you, Doc?
Oh, man. I don't know. 40 pounds probably. I know the state record in Ohio is 38. I can't imagine what catching a 38 would be like. Oh, man. I mean, I was tired after I fought that thing, 20 minutes. I know it was a good 20 minutes fighting him.
Yeah, they're fighters, man.
No, you have to click on the yeah, I know, but you have to click in on the link that I sent you. You can't start another one. Okay? All right. All right. All right, we're going to try something else here. They tried to start a call, and they're going to get in here. We'll get these ladies in here. We'll talk some catfishing with these. There they are.
Did I do it right that time? Huh?
That's right. How you doing?
We're well. You?
Not too bad. Not too bad. It's been a great day so far, and of course, every day is a great day. You guys, we've been trying to put this together for a little while, and I didn't realize you was an hour ahead of us on time, and you kept saying that one of you got off work at 7:30, and that's telling me that you're on Central Time. Well, actually, you're on Eastern Time, and that made things a little bit better. Yeah. And then we run into a little problem with the computer thing, but the old phone reliably jumped right in there, and now we got you on here, so it's going to be great to visit with you a little bit. I visited with the other ladies when we was in Memphis from up north, and they're going to do a show with us, but one of them works at nights, and it's going to be the end of this month or the first of next month, I think, before they have a Monday night that they can actually do a show with us. And then when you guys started fishing these tournaments, that gives us 2 all-women. Now, and there may be more, but this is all I'm aware of. 2 all-women catfishing teams that tournament fish, and there's a lot of women that's involved with catfishing. My wife fishes. Doc's wife has fished for years and years, been a state record holder, and Chuck used to fish with Leanne and Janet Fox, and Dave and Teresa's fished. Yeah, they've fished together for years, and now Willie and Stacy's been fishing a lot of tournaments together. So we've been working for years to try to get more women and kids involved in the sport. And now we have 2 all-women teams fishing in our tournaments. And that's a long way from way it was when I started fishing years and years ago. So, we're glad to see you guys get involved. And Reesha, you work for Jim Jones. Is that correct?
I do.
Jeff
Jones.
What's that?
Jeff Jones. Yours heard Jeff Jones.
Jeff Jones. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm thinking I got Jim on the brain. We was talking about him earlier. Those guys have really stepped up, and they got several brands of boats but they're everywhere. They're selling boats all over the Midwest. I'm so happy for them guys. They're just doing a great job.
They're doing very well.
Yeah, that's awesome. You know, we need companies like that in our sport. They're promoting some people, and I know that they're doing some stuff for you. They're sponsoring deals with tournaments and the Catfish Conference, which that Catfish Conference is a huge deal, and they was a major part of it, and still are. But you know, I'm not sure how it'd be to work for them. I'm sure it's great, but they are the type of companies that we need in catfishing to step up and like they have and say, hey, catfishing's here and we're going to be a part of it.
They're really dedicated to the catfishing community. They really, really are. And they're great guys. They're all fun. I teach. I'm a teacher. But on my days off, if we don't have school for like fall break or whatever we have, I go to work with Reesha.
Well, that's pretty neat. That's pretty neat. So, you know, it's great to see you gals involved with the sport. Your success rate to this point has been really good. We're all proud of you for being a part of catfishing. And I'm going to switch you over here and let Chuck talk with you for a minute, and then he'll turn you over to Doc, and we'll see if we can get some information out there for the people that are interested in learning more about you guys, and just tell them anything you want to know.
Ask the questions.
How y'all doing tonight, girls?
We're well. How are you?
Good, good. Tell us a little bit about y'all getting mentored by the Catfish dude, going out with Steve Douglas and him him showing.
Jeff Jones Marine sponsors Steve, and Steve has been very supportive. He has been wonderful, just wonderful. He's taken us out. He's given us some of his little secrets. He's been great. And Lisa, his wife, she's phenomenal. She goes around with her camera. She's ready for anything at any time. Even
she captures some really good stuff, and you know, her and Steve do some really good videos. So so how often did you go out and get these crash courses with Steve and getting prepared for that Monsters of the Ohio tournament?
We went out with him once, and then we pre-fished with him a little bit, and he gave us some advice, showed us some techniques, and we used them and kind of pulled our own ideas together and kind of went from there. Yeah.
Good. Yeah, I was probably within 100 yards of y'all when y'all were up on Cannleton. Y'all had about the same idea I did, and that's some really pretty water up that way. I love that area up there. That's one reason I fished it.
It is. It's beautiful.
It is. It's great. But
there's some good cats in there.
But what do you think about these? Ran at the tournament.
I'm sorry, we missed all that. What?
But what do y'all think about these big rugged catfish boats? You know, we're only catfishing, and these big old 20-foot, nice heavy-duty aluminum boats are just taking the lakes over. What do y'all think about them big rugged boats?
I think as long as it's a good quality boat, it doesn't really matter how big it is. The ones we've been in drive like Cadillacs. They're comfortable. They're quick. That's what they're built for. They get the job done. Right.
Awesome. Did y'all trailered up to Cannleton that morning? How big of a run did y'all do?
We didn't go maybe 2 miles. No, we didn't go far.
That was y'all's game plan, hit that deep water right there and
yeah, we put in there at Rocky Point. Was it Rocky Point? Yeah. Mm-hmm. And no, we didn't go very far at all. Now it was brutal. It was windy. It was rough. This one here is the troller. She's the one who controls all the where we go. I'm bait girl. I just cut up the bait and deal with the reels and rods. We went out a couple days before, and we pre-fished, and we looked for some spots, and we marked some spots, and then the ones we liked the best, we decided we would just go with those.
Cool. Have y'all been studying up on the electronics and all that very well? You've been watching videos or been to any classes and stuff like that? Or are you just trying to pick it up a little at a time, or how's that
We've
been
done a
going?
little bit of all of it. We've done our research. We've gone and we've talked to people. We've had people give us pointers. We used to fish bass tournaments, so we were familiar with all the electronics prior.
Yeah,
So
I mean, but
that helped out quite a bit.
right, but catfish, and you're looking for that big old submarine sitting down there and hoping you see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We kind of like to play by fly.
Yeah, we kind of go blind at first. Like we went to Wheeler, was it last weekend?
Yeah.
And we'd never been there. We hadn't talked to anybody who'd been there. All we had heard was that there were good cats down there, and we're like, we're on it, we're going. So we get down there, we have absolutely no idea where we're at. We had no idea what we were gonna do. It was like being on the ocean the first day. White capping, it was awful. But then
My thumb was sore.
Yeah. It was brutal. But we finally got to where we needed to be, and we found where we wanted to be, and she managed to keep us there somewhat.
Great.
So it was a good experience. We did well. We got a few beans in the boat, and
A lot of little bites, but
we had all kinds of bites.
Did y'all stay at Joe Wheeler Park, or
no, we stayed at the Days Inn.
did you?
They let us park
Cool.
right in the front too.
They did. They let us like where you go park and you can run in and check in real quick. That's where we parked, and they let us plug the boat up for the 2-3 nights that we were there.
Great. Yeah. That part of the Tennessee River is really nice down through there. Are y'all planning on coming and fishing here New Year's Eve?
No, we haven't thought that far ahead. I know we're going to do the Monsters on the Ohio again. We're going to do the Mississippi River Monsters. The rest of the ones we're planning on are part of the Cabela's King Cat series. So we're still debating on which ones we're going to go to. But
Yeah, there's one that's going to be on New Year's Eve here in about, what's that, 6 weeks, 7 weeks away, right here on Wheeler. Everybody goes up and gets in the cabins and does a few days pre-fishing, and everybody gets out and has a really good time during the tournament one day. And this will be the 3rd year that it's went on. It's a really good time.
we may have to look into that.
We may have to.
Yeah.
Around Christmas, we were wanting to maybe head down to New Orleans, somewhere around there, and we've heard there's decent fishing around there also.
That Wheeler tournament's a lot of fun.
Is that the blues, the winter blues?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. I've heard good things about that
Yeah,
tournament.
we've been looking at that one. We've been eyeballing it.
Awesome. Okay, that's all I have for y'all. I'm gonna pass y'all over to Doc, and I'm sure he's got plenty. It's been great talking to y'all.
You too.
So you both used to be bass fishermen?
We
You
did
used to
actually.
fish for bass?
We fished for anything and everything. When we were
So-
little, we started catfishing. Our mama would take us in her pond catfishing. And then we got to where we wanted to get bluegill and crappie, and then we started tournament fishing for bass. We did a few different series with it, and we didn't do it together, sadly, but with the catfishing, it fell into place, and it's
Yeah.
we
Now, how long have
enjoy
you been
it
fishing
significantly.
together? How long have you been fishing together, the two of you?
Probably 6 months.
Like for catfish,
Yeah.
yeah. For
Yeah.
about 6 months.
About 6
we've
months.
been doing the tournament fishing for about 6 months, yeah. For cat.
Well, we just did the one
You-
tournament, but we've been fishing together, total for about 6 months.
Yeah.
Okay. That's cool. You like being on the dark side? We call it
Love it.
catfishing. Being on the dark
They're
side.
sticky.
Bass fishermen
They're-
don't like it. So,
No, they told us once you hook onto a good cat,
yeah.
you won't
never
ever
won't,
want to
no.
mess with you.
That's right. Oh
It's
yeah.
true. It's a true story.
I mean, you can get some 7, 8 pounders, and yeah, they're cool. That's fine. But when you get a fish is half as big as you,
Yeah.
That's a whole different ballgame.
That's a
Yeah.
that's a different kind of monster.
Yep. Well, good. Well, I'm glad you guys enjoy it. So
Very much, very much.
Chuck pretty much asked most of the questions that I had. So, which he usually does. I just had to, which there's nothing wrong with that. But thanks a lot for being on the show.
No
Thanks
problem.
for having us.
Now, you guys are sisters. That is correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, because a lot of people won't know that you are or aren't if we don't tell them. Now, which one is the captain of the boat?
Define captain.
Yeah.
Who runs the boat and decides where you go?
We both.
It's a team effort.
We kind of both do all of.
We
That-
share
that's-
responsibility.
Okay. 'Cause
I guess
usually
really,
when you
I don't guess you can't really say this one or this one. It's just,
No, we talk about it. We do a little research before we head somewhere, and then we decide where we're going to go. We try to stay in the vicinity, and if something doesn't work, we'll try something else.
we've always worked very well
Yeah.
together, and it's always just been a group effort.
do you guys get on Google Maps and Google Earth and Navionics maps and go out and pre-fish at your house before you ever leave?
Yes. We are addicted to.
So when-
We have all kinds of apps we paid $10 for, and we're looking at the barometric pressure, and we're looking to see if a cold front's coming in. No, we do all that.
Yeah. Okay.
We don't want to.
All right. You're hooked. Yeah, you're hooked. It's just a matter of getting you going. You're hooked. There's no doubt about it. You're already doing everything that everybody else is doing. So that's amazing. And so many of us don't think about two women getting in a boat and fishing. And I think, and you guys can put your opinion in on this, but I think that in the next 10 years, we're going to see a lot more of it. Because
I hope so.
this is me too. This is something that two women can do, two men can do, a man and a woman, getting the kids involved with it. And I know we talked earlier, you guys are big proponents of getting the kids involved with this. And I told you about a little girl that we're trying to put some stuff together for you. And
Zoe, Zoe, we're going to say hi to Zoe.
Hey, she is, I talked to Zoe on the phone, and she's the sweetest little thing. And she is like one of you at a very young age, and I look for big things to come for her. I've visited with Clint, and I've talked to her on the phone, and she's excited. And like I told you, she's put a 70, I believe, 2 or 3 pound blue in the boat. She's 8 years old, and it don't get a whole lot better than that. She's only got big things to look forward to the rest of her life.
She's spoiled already.
She's got.
Well, Clint's a really good fisherman, and he takes her out on the Missouri River, and he knows where them fish is at, and sounds to me like she's kind of got them figured out too. But we're excited about that, and we had full intentions of doing a segment of the show down at Memphis with you girls, and we couldn't get it put together for whatever reason, but we do some remotes, and if you're at the tournaments where we're at, just feel free to come on up. We'll be at the conference. We're looking forward for you guys to sit in with us there for a little while.
Absolutely.
We'll be there.
That sounds like a wonderful time. I can't wait. I know them, Steve and Jones Marine and all these guys have worked really hard to get this thing going, so I'm excited about it. We had such a good time down there. Now, if you happen to be at the motel that several of us stay at, and Jeff Bridges is down there, you might get to see him do a little dance. He's quite the dancer. And we have a lot of fun after events, whether it be at fishing events or that's one of the things that about Wheeler. We've been down there the last, I think every one of them. And, the doors are open and people's going in and out of them, and it's New Year's Eve, and it's amazing. If you get a chance to go down there.
The whole Catfish community has been so welcoming and supportive, and it's unlike that
anywhere else.
Anywhere else.
Anywhere else.
I mean, we've done
Well, it is.
tournaments and bass tournaments and love. I'm not saying anything bad about them, but everybody
Right.
is just so.
They support each other. It's more of a group effort.
It is. It's absolutely wonderful.
Yep.
It's just so welcoming.
Yeah, it really is, and these everybody wants to see the next person advance and do well, even if they don't themselves. And I know everybody that I know is like that, and we're always happy to see somebody new jump in and do good, or even somebody that hasn't done anything in a while to do good. So that's just kind of the way the catfish community is. I have to say, and I've said this many times before, some of the best, and I mean finest people that I know are in the catfishing community. They just have always been like that, and since day one. When we started fishing years ago, you go fish tournaments, and nobody realized you could catch those giant blues consistently and big flatheads all the time. And we was just basically fishing for channel cats because you knew you could put 5 of them in a boat. And that's 20 years ago, and things have really changed. It's now they know what you can do, and the drifting is coming to fact, and the planer boards and all this stuff is making a big difference and an impact on it. And then we start seeing the women and children getting involved, and I've seen nothing but a great future for the sport of catfishing.
I think we agree.
Well, and working in the boat industry, the sales
Now-
went through the roof. So you can tell it's
I'm sure
growing.
they have.
It's growing.
We talked about that
rapidly.
earlier. Yeah, there's and Jones is selling them boats all over the Midwest. So you guys got something going on down there that's special, because I hear people selling boats to people in Missouri and Indiana and Illinois and Arkansas. I mean, they're going over there to
Everywhere.
buy boats. There's a reason they're doing it, and that's
We're taking
great
care
for
of
the
them.
industry.
We'll definitely
that's-
work in the catfish community.
That's what it takes to be successful. It really is, and I'm happy for them guys, and I'm glad to see them involved with the sport. It's really good. So you guys are going to be fishing some of the Cabela's tournaments. You're going to Monsters on the Ohio, and you're going to the Mississippi River Monsters. Did you guys get to visit with Bill Dance when you was in Memphis?
We did not.
No.
Oh, you got to do that.
That opportunity
You'll never.
presents itself.
He is a special guy. He is the most special guy in the sport of fishing that I'm aware of. He just is so happy to help anybody and does so much for all of fishing. But yeah, you guys will have to visit with him the next time down there. I'm sure that he'll, you guys keep going like you're going, and everybody will be interested in sitting down and visiting with you. Can you tell us about your boat that you're using?
The one we've been using is a G3 Sportsman 200.
With Yamaha.
Yeah, it's got a
200.
Yamaha on it.
Mhm.
We recently picked those up back in early fall, late summer, early fall. It's been doing really well.
It's a great boat. It's done for us what we needed it to do. We're very comfortable with it.
Now, I have test drove all of them. I have driven Sea Arcs and Excels.
That's a perfect
and
shot.
G3s, and I would be happy to fish any of those boats.
She gets to play with the boats, and I sometimes get bit.
I understand. So are you guys going to be fishing that boat this year, or are you going to be in a different boat?
We don't know yet.
We're not sure. We did do an agreement with Suzuki. That's really the only thing that we've had set in stone.
We've kind of been
As of now.
overwhelmed with different opportunities, so we're still thinking about a lot of that. But
Of course, Monster Rod Holders, they're holding strong with
yeah,
us.
they're gonna go either way.
Steve and Lisa has our back.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, as far as the boat itself, I mean, Excel, CR, G3, we'd be happy to fish out of any of them.
They're all
That's
great.
awesome. Yeah, the boat companies have really stepped it up, and there's some of them that have different aspects. It's better for one person than the other, and the next boat will have a different something that each individual will like better than one. But they've really come a long way for the catfishermen. It used to be you had to to buy either a Bear John boat and fix it up like you wanted it, or you had to buy a walleye boat or a bass boat and convert it because nobody really made catfish boats.
A lot of people
But that's-
still do that, believe it or not.
They do. They've got
Excuse me.
little docks that you can stick on them.
We do a lot of custom orders, so
Yeah. That was Rockville.
it did.
Rod down.
Rod down. We did lose a rod in the Ohio. If anybody catches it, we would
Yeah,
like
really.
Yeah, we lost a rod in the reel. Like the whole thing just bam and
Dude.
was gone.
Due to a fish or
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a fish.
And there was nothing we could do. We seen it go splash, and neither one of us could get to it quick enough to try to save it. It was just
so it wasn't in a rod holder?
It was. We had some unfortunate incident with the mount security. It
the
was not the rod holder.
you
Okay.
didn't
All right.
tighten the bolts up.
The nut was loose, therefore the rod base bent,
And splash.
and there goes the rod. So if anybody in Owensboro catches a rod,
Are you girls doing anchor fishing, drift fishing? Do you have a preference of how you go about catching fish?
We've been doing a little bit of all of it. We've anchored down some, we've bumped some, we've drifted some. We've done a little bit of all of it, but really we enjoyed the drifting.
the drifting is
Just free drifting, where are you doing a controlled drift where you're running a trolling motor and going over
Yes.
certain spots? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
Now,
our
how-
favorite style.
Yeah.
Now, how many rods are you running when you're doing that?
4 to 6,
Yeah.
depending on the wind.
That's 6 is about as much as two people can feasibly watch and take care of. You know, I know guys that got 8 and 12 and something like that, but they're not watching them all. There's no way they can. I don't care what they tell you. 6 is a really good number.
If one gets hung, 4 gets hung.
All of them.
That's right.
So,
Yep, and you just
she's
go
up there
ahead on.
controlling the motor.
Yeah.
And she's looking to make sure that we're staying in a specific depth, and she's trying her best with the wind and all the other factors.
Right.
And she's like, "Okay, we're going down. We're going down. We're down to 36 foot. Reel them in." And I'm trying to go to each and every single one of them and do my reeling thing, and then all right, well now we're back in 50. So then I have to go back it all back down.
That's right. It makes it difficult, you know, and like I say, I just can't.
Yeah, they just pop out of nowhere.
Do what now?
The sandbars, you go from 50 foot to 2
Oh.
foot. And then you're back down 50 foot. Well, then there goes a rod.
Don't discount those sandbars, especially on a sunny day.
Hey, we had a good hit on one of those.
We did. It was a pain,
Them,
but it was interesting. We had a good time.
you catch those bait fish going up at the end of that sandbar in that shallow to warm up in this fall, and you can bet that there'll be some blues right there behind them.
I tell you, the last ones we caught, it was in the early mornings or late evening.
Late evening.
They were
around
coming up shallow
4:30
water to
or
feed.
so, yeah. They were in more shallow water than they had been.
That's the way that works. And if you can find the bait, you can usually find the fish.
Oh, we've seen there were
Trial and error.
swarms
Yeah.
of little fishies. You could see, and then there was other fish that popping up, and it was like whack-a-mole.
That's good. So what's the biggest fish you two have caught to date?
Close to 40.
Close to 40 pounds.
It's about
40.
yeah.
That's great fish. That's great fish anywhere in the United States. Yeah, a 40-pound fish is a quality fish. I would take most of the tournaments I fish are 3 fish limits. I would love to see everybody go to that, but it's not ever going to happen because some of these tournament directors are just so hard-headed they don't accept the fact that they're endangering these fish. But if I would take 3 40s in just about any tournament that we go to and feel very comfortable about what I had.
Absolutely.
Right.
You won't win them all, but you'll do well in a high percentage of them. You know.
We were tickled to death
There's-
with 3-pounders. We were
Oh.
happy. They were like, "Oh, look, big fish." That's when we were small. And then
Well,
as we've gone into this start getting bigger and bigger fish. We get to 12 pounds. We get to 13 pounds. We get to 18 pounds. We get to 25 pounds. And we're like, those were not big fish. Those 3-pounders were not big fish. That's a big bass. Could be a big bass. That is not a big fish. So now it's like 40 pounds. And we're like, they were minnows.
They may be, but they're just as much fun to catch, especially for when you guys started out.
And some of them are mean. They're fighters, and they'll make you bleed more than
Yes.
the big ones will.
Yes, they will. Now, do you guys throw the cast net and get your own bait?
No, we've been using cut bait.
Yeah,
But how do you go about getting your bait?
we order it.
Okay. I didn't know if you.
No one will pick it up as someone else has caught it. We'll get it free. We have been.
Okay. Well, to be quite honest, I've been doing the same thing the last couple of years, just simply because it's not only convenient, but by the time I drive to get it and back, it's cheaper for me to buy it than it is to get it.
Where we live, the bait fish is not as abundant. It's harder to come by.
Yep.
So by the time we drive 6.5 hours to get somewhere and fish, we want to fish for our big fish.
That's right. That's right.
Really.
Yep.
Well, we both work, and apparently the boat industry is exploding. So I don't have time to bait fish a lot, unfortunately.
No.
We're going to start using live bait this next year, though.
Yeah. We plan on it.
Okay.
Hopefully things will slow down a little bit, but
For
yeah.
you're
Well,
going to bait fish.
I get summers off. I'm gonna bait fish.
But you teach school, correct?
Yes.
Now, has your school itinerary included any fishing courses for your students?
Actually, my previous district, I was one of the bass fishing coaches of the bass fishing team for a couple of years.
Very nice. Very nice. Now, I'm going to tell you a story that's old, but when I was in high school, we had a class called live sports. And they don't do that anymore, as far as I know, anywhere in the United States. But for a period of time, they would take you out and play golf. That didn't go over real well for me. I'm not no golfer. I have no use for it. It's a waste of time for me. But they let us shoot trap. Well, I was already shooting registered trap, so I loved that. They took us fishing. They let us fish for bass. They let us fish for catfish. They done archery. They let us trap shoot. They took us done everything that you could imagine. The school had a reloading facility where you reloaded shells, if you had a study hall or something. And I hope that comes back sometime. I really doubt it. But being involved,
No, they do. They do these things.
That's
They're
great.
just all clubs now. It's not necessarily one class in particular that you get to do all of that stuff, but they do have the clubs or the teams. They have an archery team. They have the bass fishing teams, and they do have pretty much all of that still that kids are completely welcome to partake in.
Well, that's great. I know Jeff Dodd has a daughter that is a big-time trap shooter, and I try to stay up on that as much as I can because I dearly love to do that. But, we got to keep these kids involved with outdoor activities. It's so much greater for them to be shooting bows or going fishing with somebody or shooting trap or going hunting than it is sitting behind sitting on the desk or at a table and playing video games. Once they get started on that, it must be an addiction that's extremely hard to break because you just can't get them broke off.
I've had so many of my kids who never had an opportunity to go fishing or hunting or anything, and me and Reesha have taken them. We've taken them on a weekend to a lake somewhere and taken them fishing, or we've taken them hunting, and it's just absolutely wonderful when these kids get to experience that, because not everybody gets the opportunity to, especially if you live in suburbia. But I mean, it's so nice that these kids see how much our family loves all of these things, and we will get permission, of course, from their family. We don't steal the kids, but they always let them go with us. We do get to take, and most of them are special needs. So it's absolutely awesome to get an opportunity to take a child who has special needs and let them get a big fish or let them get a big turkey.
Any
or,
fish.
Right, any fish. Oh, they don't want to touch it.
That's great, man. It really is. I'm so glad to see you guys do that with those kids, and like I say, we try to do as much with them as we can, and I know it's hard for some people. They don't have the time or the ability to deal with them, but the ones that can need to do it, and they're the future of not only our sport but any other sport and things that we all enjoy doing. So picking those up and helping them out, and it's just a wonderful thing. What grade of kids do you deal with?
I do middle school. I've done 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th, and actually I've done all of them. I've done the elementaries and the high school. I did speech therapy for a few years, and now I do MSD or FMD.
Mm-hmm. Good deal. Well, that helps. Then you have part. Yeah, then you have part of the summer off. That helps with your fishing ability. Now, how does that affect you? Say if you decide you want to do a tournament. I'm assuming Reesha can get off, and she's there at Jones's if she wants to go fishing. But being a school teacher, you may not be able to get out of there.
I take off.
She has a really generous supervisor and substitute and assistant.
Well, my principal, my entire district, they're absolutely phenomenal. They are absolutely wonderful to me, and it's kind of like a little family in itself. So we all kind of take care of each other.
That's great. Well, I know
that they like to see us fish.
Well, everybody wants to see you guys do good. And, Lori and the other ladies that are up north, like I say, they're going to be on the show with us. And I don't have the calendar right here handy, but I'm excited to see this in our sport. And I'm so proud of Jeff Jones, Marina, for helping you guys get started, and Steve Douglas and anyone else that I'm not aware of, because it's great to promote the sport, and this is as good a way as it can be done, and you guys are doing really well. We're all happy for you, and I think it's going to be a great deal. Like I say, in 10 years, I think people will be surprised at how many more women teams that we see, because it's not that it's something women can't do. They just never. I think a lot of it was they never was invited to go, or they didn't want to go. And
that's exactly right.
I'm telling you right now, when my wife puts a 50-pound fish in a boat, you better be looking out, because there's some screaming and hollering and going on. She's pretty wound up about that, but she's not.
Well, it's exciting.
Well, she's not a whole lot more excited than I am, because I would much rather see her catch the fish than do it myself. She's done, she's done very well, and we have a good time. We get to go out and do that together, and all the stuff that I ever did before, whether it was race cars or with trap shooting. Sometimes she'd go with us, but she couldn't participate. And this is something that not only did she like to do, that she's pretty good at. So it makes it easier.
That's
yeah.
Awesome.
So
we've got
I'm really
fun looks when we're traveling down the road, and it's track.
Now, do you both pull the boat?
In the boat, and there are people that pull up beside us on the interstate and they'll look, and they don't at gas stations or anything. There was a couple people who approached us and like, "Is there anybody with you?" And we're like, "No, we're good." Well, who's driving?
Do you both pull the boat and back in and all that stuff?
Or whatever's easy.
But you both are able to do it.
Oh yeah.
See, and that's one of the things that a lot of the women think is impossible. It's not that hard to back into a boat if you practice.
Oh no, you had to figure every now and then. Sometimes that happens. The mirror's broke.
Well, we have Cindy pulls the boat sometimes, and she's when we're loading and unloading, she'll back in a lot of times, and she's very comfortable with it if no one's around. She's not as comfortable with it if it's tight quarters, and I don't ask her to do that. But for the most part,
I'll back her in there and I'll whip her out. If I run over stuff, I'm like, somebody just move back.
Excuse me? Well, I want you to tell us about your sponsors and everybody that's helped you guys get going.
Well, obviously Jeff Jones Marine. Jim Hopper has been fabulous.
Jim Hopper, honestly, we don't have time, and he doesn't really have time. And
He makes time.
He has absolutely been phenomenal. He's been a godsend. The Monster Rod holder, Steve.
Mm-hmm. Him and Lisa both have been wonderful.
Right.
Just recently picked us up, so we look forward to that.
Very much. We do the GTO fishing, which was that's for our brother he was killed a year ago. His name is Grant Thomas Oakley, so GTO, and really all of his friends called him Catfish. That was his nickname. He was 17, and that's what he loved to do. He fished, he hunted. He hunted with her, and he fished with me. So whenever we got the opportunity, when Jim presented it to us to be in a catfish tournament, we couldn't say no.
That's outstanding. That's outstanding. Well, girls, I've really enjoyed having you on the show, and I know Doc and Chuck both have too. It's been outstanding, and you guys are very comfortable to visit with. A lot of times when you have a guest or guest on the show that you really don't know, it's kind of a learning experience. But the minute we got everything going, you guys just popped in there, and it's just like we knew you forever. So that makes it very, very easy to do a show with you. And I wish you guys the very best of luck, and we'll be looking forward to seeing big things from you.
Well, thank you.
You guys got anything else for the ladies before we get done?
Questions?
Yes,
Comments?
I'd noticed y'all fish with carrot sticks when y'all were bass fishing. Do y'all have plans on getting with them catfishing? Are they going to do anything for y'all?
Well, they don't have a catfish line out yet.
They've been working on it. They've been doing some prototypes, and they've been using some different ideas and creating a few different things, but they really want to make a product that's going to be a extremely good quality product. So, but they are in the works of branching out to like catfish rods and stuff specifically for catfishing. They do have intentions of that.
Great.
That's good to know.
Yeah,
Good know.
we're excited to see their new line. I'm not sure when it's going to be available. We were hoping by the conference, but it looks like it's been postponed. So
yeah, it's a work in progress, but I mean, we still use all of the stuff that we've got we still bass fish. We haven't.
Really?
We still hunt. We
were throwing out bass lures while we
sat in 32
for catfish.
degrees. We sat in 32 degrees in a tree stand all weekend.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
We still do a little bit of everything when we can.
That's right. You know, there's no reason not to, especially if you enjoy doing it. I'm just like I say, I'm glad that you took the time out to be on the show with us. We've enjoyed having you, and I got a feeling that you're going to be somebody to deal with down the road, boys. I think they're going to be tough. You know, they know too much already not to be a contender here for long.
Watch out.
Well, listen, girls, thank you. Thank you for being on the show with us. And, you know,
thank you for having us.
At the big show, the big events, you know, like Mississippi River Monsters and Monsters on Ohio and stuff like that, any of the big ones, we try to get the winners the following Monday on the show with us. So we'll be looking forward to seeing you again real soon.
We'll be there.
We will be there.
All right. Thanks a lot, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Guys, they've got bye-bye.
Bye.
They're pretty exciting, aren't they, fellas?
Oh, yeah.
They're pretty exciting. They're very knowledgeable. You know, I knew they had to be in the position they are, but they never one time or for 1 second when you ask them something, they had their answer right then, right there. They knew what they was going to say. They had the correct answer. They didn't make anything up or try to hide something or walk around the issues. They just nailed it. So I'm pretty impressed with those girls. I think they'll do great.
Yeah, they're intelligent little country girls, man. They've been around all this type of stuff their whole life, and it just comes natural to them.
That's right. You know, and they're addicted to catfishing. I know they didn't say that, but you can tell when they start talking about 30, 40, 50-pound fish, they're ready to go.
Oh, yeah.
They're ready to go. And I understand the bait buying stuff, especially if we're working. And, Doc, I know you catch a lot of bait, but when you can get it from some of these guys that's as good as if you are better than you freeze it yourself, it's a lot easier for me to buy it from someone than it is for me to take a trip for 2 or 3 days and be gone, get to skipjack and freezing it on the bed of the pickup tailgate like we used to do, and hauling the generator and the freezer and all that. It's sure a lot easier just to call Carl up or somebody and say, hey, we need this or that, and do it that way, or pick it up down at Owensboro from Jim and Sheila or whoever, you know, wherever your beta choice person might be. But it's a lot easier, and for me, it's just cheaper. I mean, it just is. I love going on them Skippy trips, man. We used to have a ball doing that.
Yes, we did.
They're a lot of fun. Oh yeah, big skipjacks, and we keep them, but it's a lot of work. You know, you sit out there. I sat out there for what was it, 7 hours that day, freezing and vacuum sealing skipjack on the tailgate of the pickup. That's and it was cold. It was a lot warmer fishing that day than it was freezing them or vacuum sealing them bad boys.
Yeah, it was.
That was something else. Something else. Chuck, what do you got tonight for closing out?
I really don't have much. Hold'em Hook is having a Christmas charity event November, I think it's the 19th. I think it's this coming Saturday, I believe. But it's at Ingalls Harbor. They had it last year, and it was a really good event. It made a lot of money for Toys for Tots, and they did some good things with it. The winners even turned around and donated their part of the winnings back to it. So that was really good of them doing. So I can't wait to see how that's going to turn out this year.
That's great. Good deal. I'm glad to hear people doing that kind of stuff. It's for a good cause, and that's outstanding. What do you got going for tonight, Tuck?
Well, my tip for tonight, and it's not an info commercial, but it is this stuff right here called sea foam. As the temperatures start getting down, you guys need to put some of the sea foam or stable in your fuel so it doesn't gel up on you and it doesn't draw a bunch of moisture. It'll be a lot easier to start that motor up when it gets cold. Now, granted, when it gets really cold, I'm not going to be out there, but my boat sits in a barn. It's always covered, but it's always ready to go. And I have used this on my Suzuki for at least, my boat's 6 years old, and it fires up every time. I've never had an issue with water in my gas, and we know a lot of places where the gas isn't near as good. And this stuff or stable will get rid of that, especially when you're if you get into high ethanol, which breaks down the rubber hoses on your motors. So Doc's tip for tonight: use something to treat your fuel in your boat, and you'll have less problems with it.
That's a great tip, Doc. I'll tell you, you probably do this. Chuck may not yet, but he will as time rolls off. Notes if I've got to go to the parts store or the Walmart or whatever are the things I need to pick up wherever I got to go. And I just turned the page on my notebook, and right at the top of the list is sea foam for the boats. Top of the list, and stable. Either one, I'm not going to promote either one of them. But they both would do an outstanding job and work work perfect. And below that, then comes the printer ink and all the other stuff that I got to pick up. But that was at the top of the list. So it's a great tip, and people need to do that. Even if you're using your boat a lot in the winter, you still need to put that stuff on there.
Yeah, just to keep the moisture out. It's going to condensate in that tank. And when them little droplets hit in there, this is the only stuff, this or Staples, is going to, take it out.
Well, this time of the year, one day you're 70 degrees, and the next day, and that, two nights later, you're at 20. That's how condensation builds up, is the change in the hot and the cold and all that stuff. So it just would prevent you from getting things going and having issues down the road. If you prevent them now, you don't have to deal with them later. That's kind of the way I got it. I got one thing I wanted to talk to you guys about tonight before we close the show out. Did you guys get a chance to check out the new Catfish Now magazine that come out?
Yes.
Yes.
And what did you all think about that?
Very good.
Yeah, me too. I thought that they done a bang-up job for the first one out, and Mr. Dan Mueller and Ron Presley worked really hard at that. And I think that this is something that's going to be really nice and good for times to come. And I'm looking forward to some big deals coming out of this Catfish Now magazine. And everybody that gets a chance to take a look at that, take a look at it. Jerry Dillard sent me a message and wanted me to announce that they're having the CT Classic, will be held December 3rd and 4th on Lake Whitney at the Lake Whitney Marine in Juniper Cove. Juniper Cove will give 25% of their income they receive on the cabins booked for this event will be put back towards the tournament payout. That's a pretty good deal there. You can check it out on their Facebook page, or you can contact Jerry Dillard for more information. Boys, this is the place that we talk about down in Texas, and that would really be a great deal. Those guys are working really hard down there to get this catfishing sport to be bigger in Texas. I'm glad to see that they're stepping up and doing this. I'm hoping, Chuck, that the guys keep working as hard as they do down in Alabama. I know that it's a struggle down there for whatever reason. Bass industry is so big down there, but you guys have got such a great bunch of fisheries in a small area that I would really like to see that get going down there and everybody jump in behind there. I know there's been a lot of people down to Wheeler the last few weeks and some different places. And the fishing's good. It's really good. And if they can keep these tournaments and going and keep things rocking on down there, it'd sure be great for the sport.
Oh, yeah, it would. It'd be great. And, we're doing all we can down here. And, we just got to get people, transformed over, get them out in the boat, let them have a good time. And, they'll be out there fishing with us after they get out there and do it a few times.
Well, they would, and like I say, there was a bunch of pictures posted in the last several days of some really good fish caught down on Wheeler, and I'm glad to see it. We haven't decided about going to Winter Blues this year. I got some issues coming up, but I'm excited for that tournament. They guys work really hard to put on a good tournament down there, and it always has been a good tournament. And I think that it'll be a lot of fun, as it always is, and I look for them to have a great crowd. So hopefully they can get going on that. And Fish Life has jumped in, and they're going to be a very big part of that. I'm excited for Jody Harrison. Them guys are doing a really good job, and they've stepped up to the catfishing industry, and it's going to be really good for a long time to come. With that said, if you guys don't have anything else, I think that'll do it for tonight. We appreciate everybody watching the show, and we'll see you next week right here on Catfish Weekly.